Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Rise With You on Number Go to Real Estate channel. Today I'm here again, Jason.
Charlene.
Amanda.
Happy New Year's, guys. Previous episode was Alta. So now we're going to talk about Parktown, which will be launching together with Alta. So we do have to be facing a bit of competition for both projects, right? Okay, so as always, let me do a quick introduction of Parktown Residences. Okay. Integrated developments. If you guys are fans of integrated developments, this is the one for you. Integrated means commercial. There's a commercial shopping center aspect, and then there's also the residential. And then most importantly, you have your MRT stations as well. Okay, so last year's integrated, we included Lentor Modern. Okay, so which did very well also. So typically integrated developments, we know they will do rather well. Okay, so Parktown Residences, I have all together 1,100 over units. Insane. Developers also developers is by UOL, okay, and Singapore Land. So UOL, Singapore Land did a lot of projects last year. They did Mayor Blue as well, Pine Tree Hill. So we are expecting a great performance for Parktown. I speak for myself at least. Okay. Other than that, 1,100 over units. I have 1 bedrooms all the way to 5 bedrooms. I think most importantly this is a new township. Tampiness North. MRT station currently is still building. So we know with new townships, typically what will happen is integrated and then a few other residential will come up. So there is also one more project called Oral that will come up together around the same timing. Tenet that was launched last year, sold out as well. So we know that the residential component is coming in. This new township, there is a lot of demand in this area. Then we are going to look into, does it make sense to buy into Parktown? Okay. But ladies, you guys have seen the show flat. What do y'all think?
I like it. Like just from the external point of view, I think it's nice. It gave me a little bit of Wharton House vibes actually. Looking from the inside. Yeah, really,
Because it's
really.
not like super high rise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was one singular block in the middle of the entire piece of land.
Okay.
And I really felt like that one was like, wow, that one really felt a bit Wharton House. Yeah,
It's
you
lower
can
rise.
Put the picture there. You try and find, there was one.
Wharton, interesting.
Yeah, really.
It's also because they mentioned that their landscape architect or
It's PT, which is
it's actually the same as Wharton House.
correct. Actually, the developer also Wharton is by UOL, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so even the developer is by.
Yeah.
No wonder you find the similarity lah.
Yeah, it was nice. It really felt like a village.
What about you, Amanda? What do you feel about? You've seen the model. We've seen the show flat.
For me, what impressed me the most was the show flat. I thought that the finishing was quite nice. Yeah, for a project in OCR.
Yeah, I must say UOL projects typically they go a bit more on the quality. You know, they don't disappoint for sure lah. UOL projects lah. For me, right, when I saw the project, I was, oh my god, it's huge. It felt like you know when you go HDB, then they sell the township, they will show you like a
HDB.
They'll show you the HDB, the township. Like this is the new town that coming up, like that. When I saw Parktown, it looked like a huge neighborhood, like a village that's selling. It doesn't feel like a show flat or like a project that's selling. So I must say that the numbers is a lot lah. Okay, but for my understanding of integrated, right, there is always 3 main things to look at. Yeah, maybe I share with you also. The first main thing is the residential access and the commercial access has to be different. Okay, some projects like I would say maybe North Park, it's using the same route. Woodley also slightly about using the same route. So you will create a bit of friction during peak hours lah. Okay, but for Parktown it's separated. Okay, next thing is integrated developments typically, or maybe recently, then they started to have a entrance. Some integrated projects you go inside, there is no entrance, right? You don't feel like welcome.
You can't tell where is the commercial side. Where is the
Just take the lift lobby up.
Correct. I think Jayden they have Jayden not built lah, but based on the show, like they have a welcoming entrance. Even for One Sophia, there is like a sculpture that welcomes you home.
It's separated.
Okay, and I think the last one, most importantly, is the unit. Can you go straight to the car park? Because remember we went to Waterway Point.
Oh, that was terrible.
Well, Waterway Point is where you, because of security reasons, you have to, from your unit, go to level 1. Then level 1, you need to go bypass the security, you walk another distance to another elevator, then from the elevator go down to another basement. So I thought it was very...
Yeah, we had to walk through 4 different gates just to go up to our friend's house.
I thought it was 不方便 lah. That was Water... Okay, but still Waterway did exceptionally well. But I just felt that 有点不方便. Because your condo is to have that... A private condo is to have the feeling where, when you exit your lift...
Convenience.
Convenience. You from exit your house, you come out, sure there's a car park.
Yeah. If not, it's like on the way you need to hello, bye-bye.
So the Waterway gave you maximum security, but
Correct.
0 under convenience.
Alright, so for Parktown, which they have all 3 elements, which I feel is very important in integrated development. For investors, because numbers make sense, new township. In terms of schools also, I like to point out they currently have Poi Chin under TBC. To be confirmed.
Within 1 kilometer to be confirmed.
Correct. So Angsana is for sure lah. So I would say in terms of school, right? So a bit comparing to Lentor also lah. In terms of MRT, in terms of integrated commercial access, also So as an investor, it ticks my boxes for what I'm looking for lah.
Looking at the features of the development solely.
Yeah,
now, right?
Correct. Then my next question to you all is, okay, looking at the site plan, if I'm buying inwards facing, right, I actually can be as far as 120 meters in between, from unit to unit, so it doesn't feel as cluttered lah. Okay, but there are also a few units that it's about 30 meters difference only lah. Okay, so what do you think as an investor? Does it still affect your choice in choosing these specific stacks that's very near the opposite neighbors?
Depends on the price difference, right? I mean, if I'm an investor, then it's all about numbers. And let's say if developer were to launch way lower at a lower price for the one that has a closer distance as compared to the 120 meter, I'll definitely go for the a closer distance one lah. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to resale, not all 1,000 over units will be on sale.
Correct.
Yeah, and when as a seller, what you base your selling price on, it's always based on the last transaction. So I won't see that there's a big gap between these 2 unit type in terms of their price.
Okay. Actually, we're not going to go into floor plan because floor plan is going to take us hours. But interestingly, 2+ study all faces inwards, 3-bedroom all faces outwards. So they do prioritize the own stay segment and the investor segment slightly differently lah. Okay. Other than that, for Parktown this area, I want to point out a very interesting project called Pasir Ris 8, which will be brought up for sure lah. Pasir Ris 8, right, was developed by All Green. When it launched, I wasn't an agent by then, but when it launched then, I heard that in that similar day, there was a bit of price differences in that day, and they did amazing. Pasir Ris 8 is also, the MRT station is an interchange, okay, compared to Tampiness North. Tampiness North is just one MRT station away from Pasir Ris 8, okay. So now, as a person who's buying, which let's say I want to buy for investment, then why should I go into Parktown instead of going for a Pasir Ris 8 sub-sale, which anyway it's selling now already, Pasir Ris 8 sub-sale.
Amanda sold quite a few Pasir Ris 8, right? Do your buyers have any?
My buyer bought into Pasir Ris 8.
Okay, so how come did they know about Parktown?
They do know about Parktown.
But they were?
For them, their deciding factor was very simple because it was own stay. So a lot of own stay buyers, they look into the price. So they obviously know that Parktown will not be cheap.
That's true.
So they see that there's a price gap between Parktown as well as Pasir Ris 8. Being an own stayer, I would choose, for them, they chose, a lower PSF. They get a bigger space. So for their reasoning, is more for a bang for a buck kind of thing. And they don't see a difference between Pasir Ris as well as Tampiness. But some would.
Actually, I would. Okay,
it's a different estate.
I asked you because I grew up in Yishun. Yishun and Samrang to you all got difference, no?
No difference.
Yishun and Samrang to me very big difference. Like, okay, for example, Yishun and Canberra.
Have big difference. Yishun has North Point. Right?
Yeah, actually it's true because to some people, when they are not familiar with the location, right, they only recognize it with landmarks.
Okay.
Right, so Yishun is North Point, then Canberra like
Canberra is a new township. Is doing very well.
Yeah, but what's the mall?
But when I went on weekend, it was like, that's all. I have so many space to work.
So that's the thing. That's what I realized when people talk about Pasir Ris and Tampines, right? They also don't feel there's a big difference. But to me, right, Tampines is
It's a big thing.
It's a
because
bit more,
you have 3 malls.
No, because it's a new township. Yeah, and the malls and the 3 malls, and then it feels a bit more different from Pasir Ris lah. But okay, that's how I perceive it. But growing up. Okay, next is there are some projects, right, which faces one problem, which is if there is a EC that it's near me, okay, then it's a bit dangerous. Okay, how maybe I explain Water Town and Treasure Trove. So Water Town,
But Treasure Trove is not an EC.
okay, it's like a lower entry. It's like a lower entry. Okay, so people is like slightly worried that, you know, when I enter into integrated, then beside there is a lower entry. Then this lower entry will be better performing in terms of a selected few years, ma. So what do y'all think for Parktown residences purchases? Should they be afraid that there is Tenet and then there is also Orel coming up? Will it hinder what are the challenges do you think Parktown buyers would face?
I think as of now it's really hard to determine because by right an integrated development is supposed to be, you're already paying a premium from the get-go. You're paying a premium for it already, for the convenience. So by right you're surrounded, because this is the first one, and then I see that surrounding around that area there is supposed to be a few more plots that's zoned as residential that will come out in the near future. So it really depends, right? Because if we were looking at past statistics, right, then yes, it will probably put you in a disadvantage to buy into Parktown now because other properties may potentially be much lower. But based on today's market sentiments, right, on how developers are actually pricing their properties, I don't think you'll be in a bad position to buy into Parktown, because I don't think the next few projects, even though they are pure residential, I don't think they're going to be very far off from how much Parktown is selling for. Because how many bids were there for Parktown? Do you all know?
3.
Okay, because I think if the gap is very big, right, then it goes to show that probably that winner overbidded by quite a fair bit, which will then potentially put the buyers at a disadvantage because other plots probably would not be bidded as high anymore. But if let's say all 3 of them were bidded very, very closely, the percentage is so low that it doesn't really matter anymore, then in the next time when the other plots are being sold, they will be priced similarly or even better at a higher price. So I think so you have to see what's the numbers like, because I don't have it with me.
Okay, what about you, Amanda?
For me, if I am a buyer looking to buy into Parktown for the short-term exit, I don't think it's a big problem. But for long-term exit-wise, I certainly think that it will have some form of impact. Why I say so is because we are talking about Orel of Tampiness. It's an EC where they have a minimum occupation period of 5 years. So meaning to say, if they were to complete in 2028, they will only be able to sell in 2033. Yeah. Whereas on Parktown wise, technically the first buyer will be able to sell in 2028. So in short term, I don't think it's a big issue. Long term, there will definitely be impact.
I feel for Parktown, right? Okay, so I compare to Waterway. Parktown short exit also is because of the MRT station. 2030 then will be ready. Right, so I think it kind of matches with the TOP lah. So there'll be a period where if you're looking to exit in 3 to 5 years, Parktown no problem. Then the scary part comes in is when Orel MOPs. So when Orel MOPs, right, then there'll be a few years, I'd say about 3 to 4 years where, or maybe 2 to 3 years where you will see Orel prices catching up to Parktown. But also for the ECs, right, they're not going to launch it like way cheaper because they already know Parktown is going to launch is going at a certain price, right? The EC's owners will also want to set a new benchmark. So previously, for previous areas, right, there has never been this trend. But I think nowadays sellers are a lot more advanced already. So they will look out for integrated performance, then they will do a benchmark. once that benchmark catches up to Parktown, right, then that's it. That's pretty much it for Orwell. Then you will see Parktown continue moving from then on. So I would just say, like, in the middle, there will be a
struggling season.
Correct. There'll be and I see it around maybe the 6 to 8 year mark.
The in-between period.
The in-between period, right? But if you're selling earlier, then, or you're selling after, then this middle part, then you just rent it out or whatever it is lah. Then the long way, right? Then actually you are still safe. So actually now we compare Watertown and Church. Watertown has survived that awkward moment already. So they are now like selling very well already for integrator. So integrator is either you exit
very
fast,
early or very
correct,
early
or you leave early lah.
And more so for Parktown because there are a lot of plots that are coming up.
Correct. But I think for Parktown, right, the most important thing is the break even is 1.6. 1.6, break even 1.6 is very okay. From what I understand is Parktown has to do a lot of national service. What I mean national service means it's like hit at one north where you have to do a park by the government, or it's like Emerald of Katong, we have to do the park by the side. For Parktown, they need to do the hawker center, they need to widen up the roads, they need to do up the bridge. Okay? But even with that, break even is 1,006. Okay, for Parktown, investors should really look into this because disclaimer, we don't know the prices for developers or our agencies, but we are looking at maybe 2250 starting from. And if it's 2250 starting from, I feel 还行. I feel I feel still okay because the other flip side of Singapore, Alta, we're looking at 25, 26 PSF. And Tampiness. Of course, there's a difference in location lah. But I think based on the break-even price, I feel investors 可以买进去, frankly speaking. Okay, so next question, ladies. Tampiness, right? Within this area, there hasn't been much product that hit the 2,000 PSF. Okay, maybe but the one that's doing very well, that's very far from everything else and doesn't have good characteristics, but still performing well is Treasures at Tampiness also. Treasures at Tampiness, highest PSF here at 1,858. Right, so how do you think this will affect Tampiness as a whole? Do you think this will still entice buyers to come into Parktown? Sha?
Okay, for me, right, I think that I like to, when it comes to this kind of OCR projects, I like to compare it first with how the HDBs are performing over there. Because usually these are the direct upgraders, and whether once they offload their houses, are they afford to just talk about down payment, because we cannot compare, everyone's salary is different.
Okay.
Right. So just based on their selling price of the properties or their HDBs, are they able to comfortably down pay for a 3-4 bedroom in the private sector of Tampiness? Which Treasures, of course, we have seen the performance done very well. It's for that reason lah, right? People are able to enter because the HDB prices the recent years have jumped like crazy, and Tampiness is one of those regions that have those jumbo units and all that. They have a lot of those very big,
and their BTOs are doing very, very well.
Yeah, correct. So when we do the calculations, right, actually you'll realize that these buyers, technically they could afford into the 2,000 range. Without an issue. Same goes for Jurong. It's the same. So it's just, now the question is whether they are able to wait for that period. That will determine how well Parktown will perform, in my opinion. Yeah. So I don't think that the pricing is an issue in Tampiness, to be honest, if you're just looking at HDB upgraders.
I think that also explains who your exit buyers will be lah.
Correct. So I feel buyers can accept. No problem. Yeah, it's just the timeline of things.
Okay. So for me, I feel I always feels good when I stay in the area, right? And then there's a project in the area that does well. It feels comforting, right? Like Yishun, I take North Park as a I used to say Yishun, North Park is my pride. Because even when all the other projects there, but Yishun don't have been the longest time lah, all mainly ECs lah, one Canberra, we stretch over to Sembawang, also all ECs lah. But it feels good to have a benchmark lah. Okay, so for Parktown, right, my benchmark is Treasures law, because Treasures so far nothing 2,200 over units, yet I still have such great performance, right? Then if I'm at the better location, new township, good schools, commercial, accessibility, convenience, then it really gives me a lot of confidence to purchase in the Parktown as an investor. That's my take.
For me, looking at how the transactions in Tampiness have not really hit the 2,000 per square feet range, throw some doubts in me lah, honestly, as a buyer. If I'm being put in a position of being a buyer, will I buy into Parktown? So, I think the question of, will Parktown sell well versus will Parktown do well, it's two different questions altogether. I think I have no doubts about the ability of the upgraders in Tampines being able to afford that kind of pricing. But if I'm a buyer, I will ask myself whether I am confident or not, which is something that I still do not have the audacity to say, okay, sure, let's go. While I know that there are a lot of transformation that are coming in Tampines, I'm not too sure whether I am bold enough to buy based on the transformation that is to come. So unless I really need to stay in Tampines, and if Parktown launches at 2,325, I feel like there are other options.
Okay. Actually, I asked you a question, agent to agent. What about Norwood Grand? Norwood Grand also, the condos there was a 1,000 or 900 PSF difference. What do you think of Norwood Grand?
Okay, so we talked about this before, right? The agents, all our friends were all talking about it, and then they tried to sell me Norwood Grand.
Yeah, so
But selling me Norwood Grand.
By integrated now.
And I was like, it makes sense. And I really believe, your logic reasoning is kind of logical, but I just don't have I don't have the courage that perhaps a lot of buyers have.
Maybe if you grew up in Tampines, then
Wait, what was your pitch?
Yeah.
I'd say Norwood is there is a mainly EC, then Forestwood and Bellwoods and Forestville and all that, Twins and Casa and whatever lah. But it's all not near MRT. But Tampines also, we have a bunch of ECs, Alps lah, Santorini lah, whatever it is, all not near MRT. But this is near MRT.
Yeah. And I think this kind of amenities and accessibility to them, right, is very important, especially in the OCR region.
Yeah.
Really very important. So compared to like our Pandan Valley this kind of people who don't really care, these are factors that really help to push prices in the OCR.
Because we drive lah. That's why 他们就会 pitch. Okay,
but there's one thing that I like to point out, which I think will help to boost the prices, or at least secure the prices of Parktown. Okay. Which is that Capitaland is part of this project.
Also? Because
Capitaland, right, is they are very famous for their shopping malls.
Okay.
And when you have integrator, right, I think it's so important, right, that the developer manages the retail portion very well to give it a good mix. Otherwise, you'll end up with a lot of trashy.
Like where?
Yeah, there are certain projects out there that really fail to perform simply because the retail aspect is so bad. Yeah, and then you have a lot of suddenly there's 17 nail salons in that kind of thing. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It just seems very not very nice lah. So I think it's very important to look into who is managing the retail portion when you are buying into integrated. I think that is to me, actually, above anything else, that is the most important factor, because it really can crash the prices if you don't manage it well.
Okay, fair. Okay lah. Great. So ladies and so guys, come to the end of our video. Percentage.
Okay.
I have a bet with
What's
Kenny.
on the table?
I have a bet with Kenny that he wouldn't hit this amount. I said this amount. He told me I cannot say now because we talking, right? Okay. Percentage 1,001 units is a lot. It's a lot. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 55, 60, 70.
72, I said
72.
You're
Okay,
what,
I knew
70?
I had 55.
Oh, 55. I 60.
I had a bet with Kenny. I say it won't there is an amount it wouldn't be because just 1,001 is a lot. If today is a 600, 700, I think no problem. 70, 80, no problem. I think 1,001 is a lot of units. So I'd say 55. It's still doing very well. 550 units sold in a day. In a weekend, it's record for 2025. But why 72?
So confident.
Yeah.
I think it will perform pretty well because after Treasures, right, there's been nothing much going on other than Cassia. I wouldn't even classify Cassia as the same.
Yeah, different districts.
So it's different. So I feel like there hasn't been something that's very interesting coming up in quite a while. Yeah, and then I look at the performance of 8 at BT also. To me, 8 at BT was like a not here, not there kind of project, but a lot of investors buy in, even at that PSF. So I feel like those that were not able to buy into 8 at BT, right, a lot of them actually might be very open into investing into Parktown as well. Yeah, and the with the difference in quantum, right, I feel like suddenly they can afford a lot more.
Oh,
in that way. So I feel like they may opt into Parktown. So I do think that those are push factors for this project to do fairly well.
Okay. What about you, Amanda?
50%, so I'm looking at about 500 over units.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. Mainly because I think a key contributing group of people would be the Tampiness gang. That means those who are already staying in Tampines, they are really believers of Tampines. There are certain areas in Singapore where, people who stay there, they will forever be there. Yeah. So I think this will form a key group of people. Yeah. That explains my 50%.
Okay, we'll see.
What did Kenny say?
I can't say that. He said 70%.
Oh, I'm higher than you.
No, lower than you. I thought 72.
I said 72. Kenny said 70, so I'm higher than him.
Kenny said 70. So I feel 700 units sold. Also because my 2-bedroom plus study, 200 plus over. My 2 bedrooms maybe 200 over units. So I feel normally a lot of the bulk investors all look for 2-bedroom. So I don't think it will hit 70.
And there's also, we mentioned about the bulk of HDB upgraders. So many of them either might not have their MOP fulfilled yet, or they might not have the funds to be able to, sell in time or pay ABSD first.
Yeah.
So that's like Treasure at Tampines, right? Treasure at Tampines, there's 60 over with HDB address, and Treasure only did well towards the tail end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel it will be a show flat with a lot of visitors.
A lot of people will go there,
During Chinese New Year, then the auntie will say, "Hey, 还没买屋子啊，还没买." Then they stress and they go and see.
I think Tampines will have a lot of. Yeah, we'll see. I have another bet with another friend. Okay, but never mind. Okay, so that comes to the end of the episode. Please reach out for us. Our contacts are over here. And then if you guys have any questions, you want us to cover any topics, please comment down below and we will address them very soon. Till then, happy Chinese New Year. See you guys. Bye.